Hey, what's good, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Not a bad day stock market wise. We'll get to that in just a second, but got to announce we're doing a class June 9th. If you want to know about budgeting, you want help with budgeting, and not in a motivational way, but you want specific advice, what to do with your budget as far as buying a house, buying a car, everything that has to do with emergency funds, savings, retirement. What are you supposed to do with your money? And you're trying to figure out exactly what it is to do, the exact numbers you were never taught. We'll go to jazzwealth.com. Up at the top, we've got a banner actually to promote this class. Of course, free for every single one of our customers. If you're a customer of ours, don't you dare pay for this class. But I was enticed to actually try to sell the class as an offering to people that have been bugging me that wanted to know some of the stuff that we offer to our customers. So to keep it fair, it's only $65 to get started for that class, and I'm actually going to give you nest egg as well. So if you've been interested in wanting to use a personal finance portal that doesn't sell your information or use it in any way, but that is personal to you, I'll also give you nest egg. It's all on the website there. Feel free to check it out. That's coming up June 9th. It's going to be on a Saturday. We've got some new equipment, some new setups here in the studio. We're dying to test out. And what a better way to test it out than with a live class. We'll see how we can do. So this will be the most unique version of recording or class we've ever done. So if you want to just check that out, come on by June 9th. Check it out on the website up at the top there. Speaking of nest egg, right? Nest egg, tomorrow we're going to go over some of the stuff for our customers. If you're using nest egg and you have some questions, we are going to cover a portion of that offering there so that we can help you get a little more fine-tuned. We're going to be doing a lot more nest egg classes so that we can get you up to speed. There's been a lot of changes actually and so many good things coming, but be sure to check the events tab up on our website. Also, Wells Fargo, I'm not going to really say much of it anymore, but if you're moving accounts away from Wells Fargo, go for it. Move your bank accounts, move everything. If you do move an account to Jazz Wealth, I will pay whatever fee they happen to charge you to do that. It's time. Wells Fargo's got to move on. They've got to change their game a little bit. They're not changing it other than paying a lot of money for commercials to try to make you feel better about them ripping you off. So, look, I talk nicely about most people, most places. These guys, unfortunately, are not doing anybody right. I can't say anything good about them. So, you didn't come here for all that, though. That's our housekeeping you came here for. The stock market today, well, kind of an exciting day, right? If you pay attention to the daily moves of the market, number one, you should know that we do not talk about the markets daily because we want you to make daily adjustments, right? It's really just a way to stay in tune. If you can learn a few things about companies that report earnings, the good and the bad that's out there, it just kind of helps you keep a good feel for how the market's doing. So that's why we touch on this stuff. I don't mean for you guys to think that there's some sort of daily adjustment that needs to be made. We're just staying in tune with everything. It's kind of like your spouse, right? You're just checking in, just trying to keep in tune, make sure you know when they're having a good or bad day. Anyways, let's talk today because the markets initially sold off. It was initially sort of a fairly negative day. If we take a look at the Dow, you won't be able to see a whole lot from that. But if you follow candlesticks, you'll see that today this was what's known as a bottoming tail. And that just means that the this market sold off first and then recovered all of it and then some, going positive. So a very positive sign for those that like to use charts. The Dow actually closed the day higher by 48, was down triple digits. The S&P 500 closed higher by 8 points, also same movement where it started lower on the day and then worked its way back up. And the Nasdaq 100 was higher by 47, continues to climb here after hours, doing really well actually. The markets were lower today because we had some negative earnings come out. We'll get to that in a second. And of course, this China trade war thing back and forth, it's just like a reality drama television show. Mr. Trump, President Trump there tweeted that the deal may be too hard to get done and that he was not satisfied. So the stock market was like, well, trade war is back on again. So maybe that's the case. So that's how things started. One of the things that got us started today was Target reporting earnings. The stock was down by 5.7%. They used the whole seasonal thing, by the way, if you pay attention to that. They said that the late winter caused them also to have a slow spring sales start, and that affected their store remodels as well. And so their sales were a little light because they're like, look, man, we're just refurbishing our stores. Don't worry about it. You know, the weather and everything just held us back, but we're doing great, was basically how they reported everything. I don't know. The stock was down just over 5% today. It's basically holding at the highs. If you look at a longer term picture of this stock here, you know, we're wiggling off the highs a little bit, but basically in the grand scheme of things, it's doing just fine. They're working their way through it. No problem there. Speaking of somebody working through it, you guys are shopping like crazy at Tiffany's. 23% gain on the day, almost making it off the screen there. The stock just blasted off higher. They reported earnings that may be, I didn't do the research yet, but it may be the widest beat this season, meaning what analysts expected versus what actually happened. It may be the widest beat. To give you an example, Wall Street said, we expect that they'll make about 83 cents per share, and that's how they report earnings. Well, Tiffany came out and said, we made $1.14 per share. You guys were all expecting a profit of only 83 cents, and they put up $1.14. Killed it. And because of that, they announced that they're going to buy back $1 billion worth of their shares. Also good. People like that. The deal with Tiffany's is they're going for a more modern approach. They're trying to attract the younger population. They got a celebrity, and I think Fergie also, to sort of promote this new flowers or paper flowers brand or something. So they're going more modern. They're attracting the younger audience that wants that high-end product and is willing to pay for the more luxury brands. Obviously, it's going really well. The stock just killed it today. Absolute great day. Speaking of retail and also having a great day, it's getting better for Lowe's. Lowe's shares today immediately reversed all of yesterday's declines after reporting earnings. Their earnings actually weren't too bad yesterday. Today, the news is, if you know who Bill Ackman is, he's a hedge fund manager. The hedge fund's Pershing Square. He announced that he's got a $1 billion position in Lowe's. So he made, that's a sizable investment, actually. And so the stock was higher by 10.5% on the day. Lowe's looks like it's well underway now, going back towards those highs. Home Depot barely budged on the news, so not too much to report there. Let's stick with retail for a second, because remember, it's the week of retail earnings. Ralph Lauren absolutely killing it today. They beat earnings. Urban Outfitters, they beat earnings as well. The stock did close down by 1% on the day. We were expecting a large earnings beat there, and it didn't quite get there. I don't think people were happy with that. Red Robin, if you eat at Red Robin, apparently you're one of the only ones. They're really struggling with costs over there, which has really hurt their sales numbers overall. I'm sorry, sales were lower, but they're struggling with their costs overall. The stock was down 18% on the day. Now, as far as the stock market goes, why were we only up a little bit today? We didn't have that full-on rip your face off kind of a rally today because of the banks. The banks were slightly lower today, nothing to be too scared about. They did come off the lows, but names like American Express, there we go, American Express, one of the weaker stocks in the Dow today. What was the other one there? Goldman Sachs, also one of the weaker stocks today. Just higher interest rates. If I go over to interest rates today, we'll start with notes, the 10-year notes. Look at that strong rally off the bottom. Well, you can't see it because the logo is in the way. Sorry about that. But the strong rally off the bottom, which I kind of want to show you without the logo. There you go. Strong rally off the bottom, which means interest rates did dip today. And because interest rates dipped, it held back the banks. If we go over to the longer-term rates, I should have that on the screen as well. Yeah, longer-term rates performed almost identical. And so that held back the banks. In order to have a big rally, you need to have the banks, period. So that was kind of a big one there. Let's move on over to the S&P 500 because there's a couple things you might want to know about that. Hewlett-Packard tanked today right into the 200-day moving average. If you follow that sort of thing, that's going to be earnings related. Actually, I didn't see anything wrong with earnings. So I read through it briefly. It looked like they were right on track. Everything looked good. But investors decided 10.5% to sell that stock off today. And your favorite, General Electric, lost 7.26% today. Remember, that's a trade. That stock's moving based on trade news out of China. But also today they did say they're not sure if they're going to be able to pay that dividend. So, you know, what other reason is there to invest much in General Electric unless you're going to get that dividend? They're thinking they may not be able to pay it. So the stock was just hammered on the news. Hey, look, if you're interested in a budgeting class, we are doing it June 9th. Hope you take a look at it. At least take a look and see what we're going to talk about, see if it's something you're interested in. Happy to help you guys there. I'm really looking forward to it because we're going to do a certain format. You'll get to see. We're going to start doing our YouTube videos live that way. I hope you enjoy it. Be sure to leave a comment. I'm sure you will. Otherwise, have a great rest of your day. We're going to wrap it up there, and we'll be back tomorrow to redo, obviously cover everything. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. we'll talk to you then. Talk to you guys. Bye.